Welcome into another episode of the Laser Bros podcast. We are your hosts, Logan and Luke Lazarchik. Today, April 23rd, 2024, prime area of sports right now. NBA playoffs
It's
going
great.
on, NFL draft in a couple days. Those are going to be the two topics that we are going to talk about today. Luke, I know you're kind of tail end of your school year. I believe this week's your last
No, I got
newspaper. You have one more?
I got one more newspaper meeting, yeah, and
Okay.
then but I have another week of school and then it's finals.
Yeah. Okay. I
Almost
was kind of
there.
wanting. I was hoping we could do a live stream during the NFL draft, but I know you have newspaper duties that you must
Yeah.
take care of. So, unfortunately, we will not be doing a live stream, but we will be doing a preview of the NFL draft today. Not a mock
Mhm.
draft, but talking about some rumors and news
Mhm.
that have kind of broken and kind of opened up some discussion towards the draft. And we're also going to talk about NFL draft or not. I just NFL NBA first round playoffs.
Mhm.
Kind of early reactions to those games. We had two really good games last night.
Mhm.
I don't know what your main takeaway from NBA playoffs has been so far, but I mean, I think like especially last night, it's been a really good playoff so far. I know it's only been one or two games in all these series, though.
Mhm. There's been some stinkers of games, but like every good game has been such a good game. Like it's been great. It's kind of like you got to try to decide which nights, like especially I'm finishing up, and it's like I got to decide which nights I want to watch. Oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. But now it's like I'm watching every night. I mean, I don't know what games are on this Thursday. I'm gonna actually check because now I just thought of that because I'll be watching the draft during my meeting. But
Cavs Magic, which
Lakers Nuggets is on. Oh
and Knicks
man.
Sixers
Oh
is
my
also on.
gosh. I mean, those are
So
the
I'll be
best
definitely just
games.
keyed in on the NFL draft, though. I'm all in on NFL
Yes.
draft,
I'll
so I
probably
probably
have
won't be
my.
watching this game. I'll probably watch. To be honest, I may not watch any NBA basketball on Thursday because I'm not. Cavs
Here's
Magic doesn't interest me, and then those two other games just during the draft. So it's like I
okay.
prioritize the draft over the
I've came
games.
up with my plan. I'll have
What, two
one thing on
TVs?
one screen. Toby will have the other thing on the other screen.
It's
Balling
not a bad
out. He
plan.
doesn't care as much about the NBA, so maybe his screen will be the NFL and my screen will be the NBA. We got a plan. We got a plan.
Well,
Just
let's get into the NBA action. Let's talk about this weekend's of games and the games last night. And let's start off with the last game last night. The
oh my
Lakers
goodness.
Nuggets. Lakers have had double-digit leads in both games, have blown both leads, have lost both games. What I know you're a huge. Well, we're both proponents of LeBron's the GOAT. You're a huge
Yeah,
Jokic fan.
I love
You must,
LeBron too.
this
It
series must be
shatters.
something that you love watching.
Well, do you remember last year? That was nuts. Last year was nuts too with that. I mean, it's awesome, but I want to see it go 7. So I was kind of rooting for Lakers last night. So that ended. I mean, Jamal Murray, that was a crazy shot. He was playing so poorly, and then he just turned it on. LeBron was having a great fourth quarter, but then he missed that 3. I think he just took too much time.
The open shots are the ones that actually players struggle most with because you have the most time to think about. When
Well,
it's contested, you're shooting it, going through your motion.
especially when you
But
like
when
take
you're
a
open,
dribble.
yeah,
Yeah.
when you're open, you're getting your feet set. You're making sure you have it lined up. You probably overthink it, and I think that's what he's did right there because he made. I mean, there's 2 threes in a
2,
row.
yeah. Big threes.
I believe it was 83-81,
And he hit 2,
and
yeah.
and it was like if they don't score here, the Nuggets are probably going to take the lead in the next possession or two.
Mm-hmm.
And he hits a 3, and that I kind of thought from when he hit those 2 threes to go up by 8, I believe, it kind of felt like the Lakers were just going to win that game.
I thought so when he got that, it was 93-92. And first off, no one really talked about it because of which no one really talked about any of it because of buzz beater. But it was 93-92, and it was 8. He was guarding Murray. AD was guarding Jokic, and they were doing their 2-man game. And those two played great defense. I mean, those two are probably the 2 best defenders on the Lakers when they lock in. I mean, AD's clearly the best, but LeBron's probably second. LeBron gets a steal, gets a dunk, and then Jokic tries to get the foul on that 3.
Yeah.
If the Lakers get that rebound, I mean, then Aaron Gordon saves it. Michael Porter played great. He was amazing. D'Lo was amazing, but Michael Porter hits that 3, ties it, and they're just nuts. But the Lakers are blowing. They're blowing opportunities.
Yeah, and last night they're up by 20 and they're doubling Jokic. I mean, if you're up by 20, I'll just let Jokic get his because if he's playing inside the post,
Yes.
I'm not gonna. I'll let him get his 2s. I'm not gonna double him and let him kick it out to open shooters. I didn't really understand that strategy at all from Darvin Ham. And the coach, I didn't understand why you're doubling a guy who, if he's on the perimeter and he may shoot a three, okay, but he's in the post, inside perimeter, he's only going to get 2-point shots. There's no reason to double him and leave shooters open.
I agree. I mean, I don't think Ham has done terrible. I think people are trying to blame Ham. I think that's.
I'm not going to blame Ham. I mean, yeah, the team was up by double digits both games.
Yeah, this is what I've noticed. So I think at this point, Anthony Davis is better than LeBron. I just think with his all-around play, I mean, that first half he was nuts.
Did Anthony Davis have 30 points? Sorry to interrupt you. Did he have 30 points first half?
I thought it was 24. I don't remember, but he didn't do a lot in the second half. He
he
started the second half. He started the second half off strong, and then he just got into foul trouble, and he got tired.
Third quarter, he got that fourth foul. Yeah,
but it's like, so I think he's the best player, but I think LeBron's still more important because they're up like 16, 15, somewhere in the teens, and LeBron goes to the bench, and it's like they just turn to idiots. It's like, what is going on? It's like, if you're just doing that, at that point, just give AD the ball in the post. He's feeling it. Just like, don't run plays because they couldn't execute anything. Austin Reeves has not been great. I mean, he's hit some shots, but it just feels like when he has the ball, you're like, can you get it to LeBron or AD? Or is like, can you find D'Lo open? He has not been. I mean, he's been probably. I don't know what his numbers are, but he's been. It's just when he had 9
you don't
see it.
Night,
you just don't 11. See. Yeah, you don't see the impact. I mean,
he played fine game one. He was 5 of 9.
Yeah,
he was efficient in game one, but like when he has the ball, I don't want to say it's like sporadic or anything like that, but that doesn't seem to be a clear, game plan when he has the ball. No, I don't know.
He's not playing like he was in the regular season, and he had some good games, but some tough games in the regular season. Defensively, it's not like he's terrible, but I mean, I guess Jamal Murray shot bad, but it still feels like it's a lot of other players. I don't know. He was 1 of 5 from 3. He's like chucking 30-footers if he gets them, and he needs to step up. Everyone needs to step up. They're getting Vanderbilt back, but I mean, Jokic is going to do Jokic things. AD looks like.
But I mean, at this
the top
point,
4 players are playing. They're doing their things.
My main problem with the Lakers is that late game situations, they're way too dependent on LeBron. And LeBron can do that from time to time. We saw it last night. He carried the team late. But Anthony Davis should be stepping up in those situations. I know Anthony Davis played really well, but we were talking about it. He kind of fell off at the end of the game. He didn't really do much. He wasn't very that impactful. I would like to see the Lakers in those situations post up Anthony Davis and play through Anthony Davis and not depend on LeBron hitting contested 30-footers.
And that doesn't mean
play. Yeah. That doesn't mean that LeBron shouldn't or like he can't do that from time to time. But even against the Pelicans, they were going to LeBron.
Oh, that was a disaster.
Yeah, and they almost blew that game. So, and then like for Lakers, the worrisome part is one, you had double-digit leads in both games, and D'Angelo Russell's been playing really well. He was 7-11 from 3 last night.
Yeah,
but is he really going to be shooting at that high of a tally going forward, especially from 3? I don't think so. Like
at the same time, Michael Porter is really good yesterday, and you don't know if he's always going to do that.
Yeah, but I mean, Michael Porter, he can kind of afford to not be efficient because you have Jokic, who is so good, and then Jamal Murray wasn't even good last night, and they still won. I think this could easily end up in a sweep, but I think it's going to end in 5. I think Lakers they win one of the home games, but I think they ultimately lose in 5.
I think the thing is, it's all about. I think the Lakers have proven they play the Nuggets tough. They just can't win a game. They play them tough though, and you're about to go home. I feel like they're playing them better than they did last year. I mean, Nuggets are easily favored, but it's like you could snag game 3. Snag game 3 and go from there.
Well, usually when a team falls 0-2, the more desperate team most of the time wins game 3 unless there's absolutely outmatched, which that isn't the case in this series. So
are the Lakers the second best team in the West?
In the West?
Yeah, are they the second best? Because I think the Nuggets are the best.
You think Nuggets are the best? I don't think you could put Lakers over Minnesota.
I'm fine with that, but they're on the second tier at the
Clippers
very
are such
minimum.
A weird team because I think Clippers you could also make an argument that they're second or third best, but are they gonna play like they did in the game 1? You have James Harden, who you can't really trust in playoffs. I still think I would take Clippers over Lakers. I probably have Lakers. We're discounting OKC, and OKC I think is really good. They're really young. That's the problem.
Yeah, they're young Yeah.
I would probably take Lakers at 4 and maybe 5 if you can
I
make
mean, the
argument for
Mavericks are
OKC.
still really good. I think the Mavericks just played like garbage. I think they just played like garbage. They play tonight. They just play like garbage. If the Lakers somehow got out of this series, like I would pick the Lakers to make the finals. If
Well,
they
yeah, if they
got
come
out of
back
it,
from 0-2 against the Nugget, but will they be? Here's the thing, like
I'm just gonna
LeBron's
take
three,
them.
like
I get what you're saying, but if I had to pick a team, I just because
I just don't know if they have the energy to get through the entire Western Conference. Like if they're in the
okay,
East, yeah, sure, but they're in the West. I mean, it's a gauntlet
but
through the entire Western Conference
do you know
to
what
the
sucks for the
playoffs.
Nuggets? The two toughest teams for them, like throughout a game, even though they may sweep the Lakers, it's still tough. I don't care. The Lakers and the Timberwolves. I think Lakers Timberwolves would be like a toss up for me. I'd probably pick the
Yeah, I
winner of
mean,
that.
Timberwolves sometimes struggle late in close games, and you have the veterans of LeBron and Anthony Davis.
Mhm.
So wait, would I'm trying to think of the bracket.
So Lakers Nuggets play winner Nugget Timberwolves Suns.
Okay, that's interesting. I
And
mean,
if
things
Ant
I saw.
Edwards playing like that, I mean, they can. But Ant has to play like that, I think, to win in the second round. He has to play like he just did in
Oh yeah,
game one.
I don't think he has to score a 30. I mean, he has to be efficient. I think efficient's a more
To win a 7-game, I mean, yeah.
because if he has to drop 30 every night, then we clearly don't think highly of Minnesota's roster if we're
I mean,
thinking
no,
he has
we
to
still
drop
do
30 every.
because I mean, Jokic is dropping
And
around. Everyone's dropping 30.
I'm not saying that we do, but I'm saying if he has to drop 30 consistently
Well, he's
just
going
to
to
say to win
average
a seven,
30 in every series. So
I think it's
I
more about
think,
efficiency. If he can be efficient, I think that's more of how they can
I
be
think
successful than
here's the
just
thing: he's going to
dropping points.
average 30 in the playoffs, like he just will. So yeah, he has to average 30 in a series to win. So I don't think that's saying it. Like, I mean, Tyrese Maxey's averaging 33 and Embiid's averaging 32, and they're 0-2. So, but no, this is a great series, though. Great series.
And let's segue right into
Yeah,
that
that
game in
mess.
which you just mentioned. 76ers blow last night's game. They were up 101 and 96 with under a minute to play. Jalen Brunson kind of gets a lucky bounce on the three. And then 76ers struggle to get the ball in and controversial non-foul call. We were talking about before we recorded today. I have not looked at the play where Maxey fell. I haven't looked
It
at it
was a
more
foul.
closely. I know you looked at it and you think it's a foul.
It wasn't a foul like when all the jumping and stuff, but before he got the ball, throwing it out like he got fouled before. Like Brunson had his jersey, and in the end, they still screwed up. They still screwed up. Couldn't get the
And yeah,
rebound.
they could have taken a timeout too.
Yes, well, they tried to. Nick Nurse tried to, but the players probably should have been. I think the refs did not see Nurse. If
Well,
I
Embiid
don't,
also said post game that he tried to call a timeout as well. So the refs just probably didn't
I
see.
haven't seen that, but I've seen Nick Nurse did. Maybe he did. I don't know. Then it was wild. That was one of the crazier moments. Me and
And
Patrick were watching it. We were losing it. Oh man, it was a great day of NBA.
well, my roommate he has a parlay going. He had Denver and the Knicks winning in that
Yeah,
parlay, and they both won. So it was
and they
pretty
both
funny.
won in wild fashion. They probably both should have lost.
No, they both should have lost. Yes,
Yeah,
I was
it's
watching a game in the living room, and he came out, and it was 101-96, and he instantly went back into his room, and then 30 seconds later they won the game. So it was like that game kind of just illustrates the 76ers playoff.
yes.
It's every year. It's Embiid's hurt. He's not healthy.
But he's
The team
playing
somehow
well.
loses. He is playing well. Somehow the team loses games that they shouldn't. It's the same thing every year. And I know we were talking about last night.
Mhm.
If the 76ers lose a series, do you make major changes? And I'm on the side, if you can't get a star like Paul George or land DeMar DeRozan in free agency, I'm considering moving up Joel Embiid. He's 30 right now. He's always hurt. I mean, he barely played this year, and he's still hurt again. Like he's always injured or banged up with something, and then in the playoffs. Now these playoffs, he's playing really well, but in
Yeah.
past playoffs, that's kind of when you
No.
see him shrink a little bit. So I'm kind of like Maxey. I think is great. I
Oh,
could he
Max
be
is great.
could he be a one? I think he'd be a low end one, like a
And
number one on a
he
team.
could be like Jamal Murray. I mean, that's
Yeah, but like Joel, I'm kind of I've seen this too many times. He's hurt every single play. Like even if they get
Okay.
through the series, there's no guarantee that he's
Oh,
even healthy.
they have no chance winning the finals. He just can't make it.
No,
The problem with him, it's not as much like he's still scoring. It's he can't defend as well and he can't rebound as well. And you're dealing with Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson, and they're not the best bigs, but they're going after every ball. They're great rebounders, great defenders. So that's kind of tough. I mean, I picked Knicks in the series, but I picked Knicks thinking Embiid, if he played, would be averaging like 24, not like 31. And I didn't think Max. I know you've always been higher on both these guys than me, because I'm team Yoke. I'm team Jokic. I know it sucks to like, oh, I'm team this guy, but I'm team Jokic, best big, top 5 big of all time possibly. But Embiid, he's still playing well, and like the injury thing that just happens. I can't be mad at Embiid for anything. I just can't. There's not like,
no. Like he's playing. Like he's definitely
and
dealing
he's
with a
hurt,
knee
and he's
injury.
like,
And he's still like the 76ers. I think 76ers is high end talent the right word? Do they have more high end talent?
yes. The
I think
top.
I think they have more high because like
I mean,
to
Max
be
is
honest,
outplaying Brunson.
no, Brunson is playing terrible in the series. That's why it's like if you told me Brunson, because right now Brunson's 16 to 55 from the field.
Yeah,
This
if you
series,
said that and
202
Embiid's averaging over 30 as well as Max, you're like, oh,
and Maxi, yeah, you
this is
think
a
it'd be
joke.
2-0. And
Sixers, yeah.
to be honest, like Anunoby hasn't really been playing well this series.
He's playing. I mean, he's a good defender, but it's Maxi's still doing his stuff. So I mean, he's not matched up on Maxi a ton.
Anunoby had 10 points last night and really wasn't a factor at all.
Yeah,
Like Josh Hart, I did
he's
not
been
expect him to
great.
be playing as well.
Yeah, that's
DiVincenzo's
nuts.
playing well.
The
McBride
bigs.
had, I think, 20 plus points game one. He was
Yeah.
solid at moments last night. I think the thing with this series is I think the 76ers are a better half court team, but you're seeing the Knicks want to get out and run. So in transition, they get a rebound and they shoot the ball out to a guard who's already at midcourt or whatever. I think the 76ers are a better offensive team. I think the Knicks are hustling more and they're just getting there in transition. That leads to back to the point of Embiid. He can't get back because of his knee, and they're getting easy layups and easy points of transition.
I mean, the Knicks, they got like 8 guys, and they play tough. Bogdanovich even was a big scoring boost in the first game. I mean, they got more guys. This is like, I think the Knicks, if they wanted a shot to go crazy and make the finals, they needed Julius Randle. But I think this is the series where, do you know what? I know he's not coming back at all, but maybe they could have been like, rest this series. I think this series are better without Randle. Randle was great this year. I mean, 24 and 9. He was not too efficient from 3, but 47% inside. The Knicks have, you just trust all their players. You trust all of them just to make the right plays, make the hustle plays. In the Sixers, it's Embiid and Maxey. And Embiid always, like, he's not been the best late game player in the playoffs. And then, I mean, I know Batum played well against Miami, but that was just. But then, I mean, Kyle Lowry's shown up, but Kyle Lowry's shown up, but he's doing all he can. But it's like he's also, how old is the dude? 38? He's the second oldest. He's the oldest player if you take out LeBron. They just have no one. They have no one I trust. Kyle Lowry's their number 3 right now, and I've always been a Tobias Harris fan, but he's just not doing anything. Oubre really isn't either.
I still think Tobias Harris is their 3.
I'm just saying this series. I'm just saying this. I'm not talking about in general. You're right about in general. I'm talking about in this series. He's their third best player, in my opinion. Just who do I trust to make a shot, to make a play?
And I really expected more from Kelly Oubre as well. I thought he would be able to play because he's more of a slasher, and you're playing off of Maxey and Embiid, and he's only scoring. I mean, he had 4 points last night.
He didn't shoot a 3. How do you not shoot?
And I don't know what happened to Buddy Hield's shot. I mean,
he can't. He's not even shooting either. I mean, Paul Reed just comes in for the Embiid minutes, so he does his best then, and he's fine. But he plays less than 10 minutes. Batum had 1 game. I think we all know Batum's not going to do a ton. He was averaging how much this year? 4.5? Or no, that's postseason. 2.7. 2.7 on 37%. I mean, they have no one else. Kyle Lowry's their third best player in the series, and it's sad. That, as you were saying with the Embiid, I think literally everyone is a free agent except Embiid. Literally everyone. So you re-sign Maxey.
But here's the thing: then you can get an absolute package for Embiid.
But would you?
If you traded him?
But he's 30 and he's injury prone. I don't think you're going to get
Exactly. So
it's like,
why? That's my point, though. If he's 30 injury
but
prone, isn't that also an argument for the 76ers to move off him? If that's
but
exactly what
okay,
your point.
because you're not going to get a good trade for him. It's like if the Lakers trade Anthony Davis because he's 30 or whatever and he's injury prone. You're just not going to get the value that the peak Embiid is an MVP. You're not getting MVP trade back. Do you know what'd be like the weirdest thing in the world, the weirdest trade? You'd have to like go to the Thunder. I think get Josh Giddey, but you need way more than Josh Giddey and picks. Like you want Shet, but then they're
But
saying no
that
to
that make
Shet.
that team that actually makes sense though because they have so many first round picks, and I know it's not like the NFL where you can stack.
But you're giving
first round
up an
picks year on year.
MVP and you're getting picks that could be anywhere, and you're just getting like a good role player who's had a outside the league investigation. You're gonna want Jalen Williams, but then the Thunder are gonna say no, you can't have Jalen Williams, you can't have Shet. It's like okay, we'll take Case and Wallace and Giddy. Yeah, I like them both, but and
How
picks,
many
but
how many more years do we think Embiid has? I don't think it's that
4
many.
of really good playing. Because 4 of like all-star level to MVP. I don't know what the range will be, but I'll say 3 to 4
See, I
in
don't
that
even know if
range.
that's. I maybe I don't even know if that's even the case. He's always
I
hurt.
come on, 3 to 4 years. He's still great at shooting, and he's 3 to 4 years of all-star level. Logan, come on, he's a big. There's not going to be many bigs who are better than him.
I'm
Bam,
not saying definitely trade him, but I would if you lose it because both for both of these
we got
teams, this is such a good opportunity because you're either playing the Pacers or the Bucks in next round, and if Giannis is still banged up, I can see like whoever wins the series. I think I would take, barring what we know about Giannis' health, I'd probably take to go to Eastern Conference Finals.
unless Lillard plays games like he did in the first half. Yes, Lillard
See,
was.
yeah, I don't know
But
if
you don't
Lillard.
know, and you don't know about
Yeah,
Giannis. I bet if Bucks win, Giannis will be back. But you just blinked me on my point, man. What was going to be? Oh yeah, my point. I remember. You got to go get. I mean, you're praying the Mavericks. I think the Mavericks' first game was just them playing terrible. I said that. Pray I'm right, and that the Mavericks go and beat the Clippers, and then you can go try to sign Paul George.
yeah.
Because, but maybe I feel like maybe Paul George. Like then you're not going to have any. It's weird. Like I'd like that, and I'd say if you can do it, you do it. But is there a better scenario out there where you can go grab? I don't know. I couldn't tell you the exact player. I know DeRozan, but maybe DeRozan for cheaper, but he may want.
I think I'd rather
I
have Paul
feel
George though than DeRozan.
no, yeah, I'd rather have Paul George, but I'm talking about the money, so you can keep some. I mean, what are you
What's
going
their
to do?
depth? What's their depth right now? What depth do they
Well, no, for
that
next.
you like right now?
That's true, but you need to get depth. I mean, they have no
No, I know,
depth.
but like let's say we for whatever reason we could put Paul George into his team, and you still keep the like. Fine, if I lose
I
a
get that's
player
a
or two
fair
from my
point.
depth,
That's a fair point.
I'm like I'll take Paul George. That gives
I
me
mean, the
another
hope is
scorer. If you have Maxi Paul George as your so you don't have to depend on Embiid during the regular season as much, you can kind of
no,
what's where they
that
use.
may be the best trio in the league. I'm trying to think. I mean, I'd still probably just take like the Nuggets trio of Jokic, Murray, then Porter / Gordon. That's a thing. Like the Nuggets have like 6 players who fit so perfectly. The Sixers have never really found that fit.
Because like when you look at the NBA, a lot of teams don't have great
I wonder how
depth.
many how many. No, yeah, you're right.
I'm going if I'm the Sixers, I'm going all in for Paul George, and if that fails, and if I don't really get any other pieces like a DeRozan or something, I'm considering trading Embiid. And
I
I may
just
be
don't. You're
hyperbolic,
not going to get the value. I just don't think.
like my preference would be to keep Embiid and get another scorer, another player you can depend on. And Paul George also plays defense. I think it'd be a
The
great
thing is,
fit.
no, yeah, I just don't think you need to get someone as good as Paul George and spend all that money. Do you know what? Here's an interesting one. You got Malik Monk. He's a good third scorer. I feel like
He's a
he's
little
reliable.
him and Max. I'm not trying to compare the players, but they're both slim, fast-paced
That's fair.
guards.
That's fair.
I want to get something else in that roster. I don't want to get a carbon copy almost of another player that I already have on my roster.
That's fair. I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, there would be some dream goal. LeBron goes in free agency and says, "Screw it,
Is
I'm gonna go
Tobias
win
Harris
the
a free
title."
agent?
Yes, and you're not
Okay,
keeping him.
okay,
He's
okay.
gone.
You're not keeping him. Okay, okay.
I'm trying
Then
to
yeah,
see what if the Sixers just. I mean, you have no players to really trade. maybe you do sign and trade, but like their draft picks.
And you definitely get veteran players on veteran minimums, even if you make all like. If you're
Hopefully Kyle Lowry would not retire and just sign a minimum, and probably do the same thing with Paul. Well, they may have Paul Reed under contract, so you have your backup still, and then Oubre would probably be. You may be able to even keep like an Oubre because no one would want him after a bad playoffs.
He only signed a 1-year deal, correct? Was it only a 1-year deal?
Yeah, it was like 1 year 10. Buddy Hield's probably gone. He's probably just gonna go wherever LeBron goes.
I think you can find players. Like
I just think it's a risk because there's a chance that they still suck. There's a chance, and Paul George had a little injury. I mean, to me, my takeaway is like first off, just on the Sixers is Tyrese Maxey's like okay, he's at minimum a 2, or minimum.
I think he's
not going to be a 1.
1B.
Yeah, it could be like Jokic and Murray, where Jokic is the 1A, and it's weird because Jokic is the 1 and Murray's the 2, but it's also like a 1A, 1B, where it's like Murray as he closed it out in those moments. It could be like that. I mean, it was like that last night, but Jokic has Michael Porter and Gordon and KCP and Brown. I mean, their depth's not as good now. Watson's, but he has at least those guys. So it could be done, but you don't have much time. So Paul George can be the answer. DeRozan maybe. Yeah, it's just you got to do something.
All right, let's move into tonight's slate of games, and we're going to go in order of when they are scheduled. So let's go with the Timberwolves and Suns. Timberwolves dominated game 1. What's your feel on the series now? I think you had Timberwolves win the series. Do you think it's more of a landslide, or do you still think this is possibly a 6-7 game series?
If I had to pick right now, I'd say Wolves in 5, but I think it'd be like a competitive 5. I mean, Devin Booker, I knew the Anthony Edwards not playing well against the Suns was stupid. I knew it was fluky. I knew it was fluky, and then he comes out and he has that moment, and you're like, damn, he's amazing. Durant was really good, and we all saw the Durant-Edwards moment. But, I mean, Booker wasn't good, and the Timberwolves have defenders. I mean, Cat had some moments. Gobert had some moments. The Timberwolves are a really good team. They're a really good team. They can beat anyone in the West. They're not the best, in my opinion.
We were talking about it during that game, but there's a point where Anthony Edwards and Karl-Anthony Towns were both off the court, and Timberwolves' second unit was still keeping them in the game and actually expanding the lead. Like, when you have those two off the court and you can still have your second unit do that. I mean, especially Suns who don't have no depth.
Yeah.
I don't think Suns really match up, and you kind of saw that. I mean, it was close early on, but then Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards just took control late on.
When you have like Naz Reid, who is like top when it comes to centers, like top 10 in scoring, probably just ability, he could probably average 20 if he was a starter somewhere. Gobert was locking in this was in those moments. You have Gobert still playing defense, Naz Reid scoring, and Mike Conley facilitating. I mean, yeah, they're a good team, and yeah, the Suns just don't have depth. Bradley Beal's had his moments, but it just wasn't the best fit. I think it's just that simple. It's not that he's bad. It just wasn't a good fit. And you could score and score, but you're playing Timberwolves who could score and also have one of the best defenses in basketball. So I really like the Timberwolves. I'd pick them to win tonight, and then probably Suns to take game 3. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's probably. I'm gonna say. See if it's. I don't know if I see Suns winning a game in Minnesota. That's what's making me pause about 6. Because I don't know if Suns can also win 2 at home. Like, I don't know if for it to go to 6, I think Suns would have to win tonight. Because I think either they win tonight. I think they split the road or their home court either way. I don't think the Suns win 2 games at home. So if it were to go to 6, Suns would have to win tonight. So I'll probably say Timberwolves in 5 as well because I think they win tonight. And I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I do think they win pretty convincingly.
No matter what happens in this series and in the Lakers-Nuggets series, that has to be the best second-round series of East or West, just the winners of this series. Because if Suns win, that means they turned it up. If Lakers or Nuggets win, that means Lakers turned up or Nuggets are just the Nuggets. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, actually, if it's Nuggets against Suns, though, I think that could be a sweep.
I don't know. The Suns have played I guess the Suns have played Timberwolves well. But it went to 6 last year.
I mean, last year and this year, they're kind of different teams.
I know they're different, but they're still. I mean, the Nuggets don't have the depth of last year that they did, so I think that's something the Suns, like them not having depth, they can kind of take advantage of. I think that'd still be a great series. That'd probably be on top of my list because that means Booker and Kevin Durant turned it up to beat this team.
Let's move on to the second game tonight. Pacers Bucks. First game was pretty anticlimactic, especially
Not
with
what anyone really expected.
no Damian Lillard scored 35 in the first half, 0 in the second half. But I mean, they basically won the game in the first half. And Pacers, you kind of see that they're a young team. They shoot a lot of threes, and usually they make a lot of threes. And Bucks actually give up a lot of threes as well. So you would think it would play into Indiana's hands, but Indiana wasn't making shots. And I don't know. I feel like Bucks are still a very vulnerable team, especially without Giannis. I mean,
No,
I think
they
the
are.
Pacers can still win this series, but tonight will be telling. If they lose tonight, they just won't win.
Who would you take right now to win? Who do you think's winning the series?
I mean, I do not like the Bucks roster outside of Lillard and Giannis at all, and Giannis isn't healthy. Pacers, I'm probably going to say Bucks just to be safe. Unless something like if Pacers beat them tonight and they play much better, I do not like the Bucks. I'm going to say Pacers.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick with Pacers.
I'm gonna go with Bucks. Because I picked Pacers for a series because Halliburton was really good the first 2 or 3 months and he slowed down. But I thought he was gonna rejuvenate. And I didn't get to watch much of this game, but I looked at some stuff and I saw that Pat Bev was playing great defense on him. Halliburton has to be really good. Yeah, Halliburton has to be really good. He has to. He can't be sitting around. I mean, Siakam was great and their game whooped. I mean, I thought about it more and I was like, was I stupid? Just not remembering, oh yeah, this is Damian Lillard. I mean, I probably would have told you if you would have asked me who's a better player. I mean, I feel like I don't want to be too reactionary, but then you think of things like, oh, was I being dumb? I would have said Halliburton's better than Lillard, but at the same time, when it's playoffs, Damian Lillard's. I mean, I know he hasn't won it all, gone to finals, but he's done stuff, and that just may be the thing because Halliburton hasn't been there yet. Siakam's been there yet, but probably not. I mean, he's been there. Siakam's been there. He's experienced. But I mean, Miles Turner he's been there once and just loses LeBron. And I don't know. That was just shocking that they got whooped. And it really made me rethink this series.
Yeah, I think if Pacers win tonight, they win the series.
Oh, well, Middleton was good. And that was also, I didn't watch, but his number, he was 9 of 14 for 23 points. It's wasn't expecting that either. And if Pat Bev just makes Halliburton's life hell, I think this is Bucks. Because then I still think Giannis will come back. And I'm trusting that Lillard will do this enough.
Either way, this series doesn't really interest me that much. It really doesn't. I think the Bucks, if they win this series, they could easily be in the conference finals if Giannis can come back. But I don't know. I don't think they're going to challenge to win the East. I don't think they can beat the Celtics.
I don't think anyone's beating the Celtics in the East unless the Celtics have a bad series. They're so good.
Last game tonight before we start our NFL draft preview, Clippers Mavericks. I think everybody was picking Mavericks to win this series. I mean, I think watching.
I think I said that, and I was like, I'm picking Mavs, but I'm scared because everyone's picking.
And usually Mavs. I pick the Clippers. I really have been a Clippers fan, or not a fan, but I like their team a lot, like their roster construction. They just haven't. They've come up short in the playoffs year after year. I mean, that game against the Mavericks was really impressive, and I think what the Clippers did was they essentially just attacked Luka and Kyrie on defense. They just got into pick and rolls and made Luka switch onto the primary ball handler, and they just went at him. And to be honest, when I watch the Mavericks, I don't know. I hate the way the Mavericks play. It's give Kyrie or Luka the ball, let them create, and then just have three guys just stay on the perimeter and wait for either the Clippers to double and then they get open and shoot a three. I don't know. It reminds me of the James Harden, Chris Paul, Houston Rocket teams where just those two and then three people staying around. I don't think that's a way to win, especially in the playoffs. You're not going to win 4 series playing that type of basketball. You're just not.
I wish they played more doing
It's
things.
fluid basketball.
Not just
Just move the ball.
I know,
like,
but at the same time, you mentioned the Harden Rockets. They were up 3-2 on the Warriors, and if Chris Paul doesn't get hurt, and then they were up in Game 6 and 7. If Chris Paul doesn't get hurt, they probably go to the finals, and that team probably beats unless. Would they beat you'd have to say they'd likely beat the Cavs, but that LeBron could have done anything except beat that Warriors team. LeBron was nuts in 2018. So I still think he can win, and they were just bad. I was able to slightly watch this. I was covering a baseball game, but I would turn on Hulu. Hopefully, I was like, no one's judging me. I'm trying to watch the Clippers Mavericks game. But I think they just played bad. Harden hit 6 threes. I do think a big thing is what Zubac, first off, just killing Gafford. That's a problem. That can't happen. If Zubac is going to be that dominant against Gafford, Clippers are winning this series. And then Westbrook's impact off the bench. It's nice to see Westbrook. I think he's found it. He's found the place. He's found the role. He does have a player option. It's only $4 million.
He'll
So
probably
that'll be but it's like he probably declined, but he's also in Los Angeles and he wants to win.
Especially if they don't bring Paul George back.
And he's played
There'll be
best
more
with Paul
money.
George. So that's a very interesting offseason thing. But I still trust the Mavs. They were playing so well. They became one of the better defensive teams at the end of the year, better rebounding teams. Their offenses were running smoothly. And I just think they played bad. And I'd be surprised if they lost tonight. But if they lose tonight, then it's like, ooh.
Thing is, they played
you do get to go home, though. You do get to go home, though.
Yeah, they play like you can say they play bad, but that's the way their style is. They either are probably on fire because you shoot so many threes. You're either going to be hitting a lot of your threes, or
but
you're not.
More
And
of the time,
I know Clippers shot 50% from 3, and James Harden hit, I think you said 6 threes.
Yeah.
Is that really going to happen again? I don't know. But I also know Clippers have more avenues of scoring, better defense. They've been there before. Mavs have been there before too, but you have Paul George.
Lucas cooked the Mavs. I know he's lost both series, but he's cooked them.
I think the Clippers, their formula of the series is on offense, they're just going to keep going to Luka, tire him out, and then on the defense side, try to take a ball out of his hands as much as possible and force Max Kleber to hit threes. These other players hit. PJ Washington hit some shots, and I know that's easier said than done, but you can kind of worn out Luka on the defense end. You can definitely.
But wouldn't you say that the 2 years and he was younger and not as good, and he still took him to 6 and 7? But now, and Brunson wasn't what he was then, but now he has Kyrie, and Kyrie looks good. And more of the time than not, they hit their shots because they're open. Luka's hitting shots, Kyrie's hitting shots, opens up everything. I still like Mavericks. If they lose today,
they also had Doc Rivers as a coach, and I think Ty Lue's Ty Lue's a much better coach in my opinion.
Wasn't Ty Lue the coach?
No, he was, but Doc Rivers was
second
the coach.
But the first one. But wasn't Ty Lue the coach in the second one where they went to 7? That was Ty Lue, right? I'm pretty sure that was Ty Lue.
I believe so, yeah. But Doc blew a 3-1 lead against the Mavericks. Is my point.
Well, yes, but I'm not even. But I just trust Luka and Kyrie enough. I just like the Mavericks.
I believe the box score they each scored.
Yeah, but Luka's
30.
Kyrie scored 20 in the third, and Luka puts them at the end. They scored 30, but Luka wasn't good.
My point is 33-31. That was Luka and Kyrie that game.
I fully get what you're saying. But Luka's done this, and they've been playing well recently. I just think they came out with a terrible mindset, I think, and they look slow and lethargic. I think they're going to come out guns a-blazing. And if they lose today, I would still pick them, unless it just looked terrible. I still pick them to win.
Yeah, and
I have strong faith in the Mavericks. But maybe Harden doesn't have that game with Kawhi on the court. I get it. I still like the Mavericks. I have a lot of faith in them.
At this point, I think Clippers win tonight. I think Clippers win this in. Well, if they win tonight, they're up 2-0, and then it's so tough because they win tonight and they drop 2 in Dallas.
Yeah, I could fully see. I have Mavericks in 6. Mavericks in 6. I'm gonna have that. If Mavericks win or lose, I'm gonna keep Mavericks in 6, and then unless it's bad,
I'm gonna stick with my Mavericks pick. But if Mavericks lose tonight, I'll probably say Clippers in 6,
and that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
I can't hate you for that.
All right. Anything else you want? Oh, I guess we'll talk about just touch up on the Cavs, Magic,
that's
Boston, Miami. I
over.
mean, those two series are. And to be honest, like the Cavs Magic series has been pretty unwatchable. It has not been. I don't think it's been very good basketball.
The Cavs have the
both games have been
experience.
90 to 80s.
The Magic don't have the experience. Magic can't score. And Celtics are gonna murder. Yeah, that's.
We were looking at we were looking at odds. And was I believe like Celtics minus 2.5 in the series. Like basically they had to win 4-1.
Oh,
it was like
yeah.
minus 4,500 or something like that. It was something crazy.
Yeah, and then
like,
the
Miami has no chance.
Yeah, and then the final series is
Pelicans
Thunder, and I still have a lot of faith. I think Zion said or said he thinks he's coming back this series. So, I mean, I still like the Pelicans. They should have won that game. I mean, Brandon Ingram was terrible, and they're right there. And Shea,
but you
played
say
well.
I mean Thunder weren't that great offensively.
Shea still had 28 on 45%, 46%. Jalen Williams had 19 on 44. I mean, Shep wasn't blue. The Thunder top guys were still pretty solid, and
I just don't know if you're going to be able to consistently hold the Thunder under 100 points.
But
that's a testament. That's a testament to Pelicans' defense. But like, if Pelicans lose Game 2, they are terrible at home.
But
so would I have faith in them?
I get that. But what if Zion comes back for Game 3? If Zion, my opinion, I think Zion will come back midway through. I think Pelicans win this series.
I don't think Zion comes back.
I mean, let me find if he said
it's a soft tissue injury. He's dealt with these. I don't think he comes back.
Look, I'm not saying it may be the smart thing for him to come back, but I just think he will. I think he's going to force it because I think, especially if they win.
Yeah, and he can force it. You may be right. He may come back and force it, and then he aggravate it again. There's no guarantee that if he comes back, he's just not going to get hurt again, or re-aggravate, or make it worse.
He said it's realistic, but he has to pass test, dude. I think they can win the series without him, as well. I don't think they need him, but
I wouldn't choose.
You have the defenders, and
I wouldn't choose Pelicans to beat Thunder even if they had Zion.
I mean, they don't have we completely disagree. I think you have the defenders. You have Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, and then you have Alvarado, but he wasn't great. But you still have McCollum and Brandon Ingram who can score. It's about Brandon Ingram now because McCollum will probably get just 20 on slightly inefficient. Maybe have a game where he gets 35 hitting threes. But it's on Brandon Ingram. It's on him. He has to step up. I know he's hurt.
Brandon Ingram because I know it's a completely different series, but we were talking about the Sixers earlier and how you don't trust some of the players.
I trust him enough.
Brandon Ingram.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think in this series he can do it because I think he has enough. Valanciunas can mess up Chet down low because he's so much bigger. Trey Murphy's hitting shots. He's great. Herb Jones, great defender. I think this team is well built. I think so. It's not like he has to be like LeBron or Kawhi or Kevin Durant, but he has to be the one. But he doesn't have to play on that level of those guys. And I think he will. It's a gut feel. I'm sticking with it. Now, he has to. I mean, if they lose, I think they can lose the next game, still be fine. But you probably need Zion. But he can't look bad. He can't look that bad again. He needs to step up. But I think he will.
If they lose Game 2, I think either sweep or in 5 for Thunder.
I still would have some faith.
I don't think Pelicans win 2 games at home. I just don't, especially without Zion. Let's shift over to the NFL draft. We've had a lot of rumors the past few days leading up to
quarterback centric as hell.
Yep. First one's going to break Luke's heart with Daniel Jones, but there was a report yesterday that the Vikings and Giants have been the most aggressive trying to trade up to the Patriots pick. Most likely trying to get Drake May or Jane Daniels, whoever is available at that pick. I mean, I think this is more. We always knew that the Vikings were aggressive in trying to get a quarterback, trying to trade up for a quarterback. They trade for the 23rd pick to potentially package to trade up. But the Giants, I think this is very telling that they're kind of hedging their bet with Daniel Jones and that they're most likely going to move off of him after this season. Especially if they land a quarterback, they'll move off of him.
That's fine, but I'm just making gut call. Maybe they love McCarthy and they like 4 of them. But my gut is telling me that the Giants just love Drake May. I think they just love Drake May. And I think that I saw something that the Patriots said that or it was reported that the Patriots, the offers for the third pick have been really weak. And I think that the Vikings or Giants, maybe they each love May. And maybe they're not trading for the third pick until they know it's going to be May. So until Daniels is a commander, which it looks like that's going to be, it makes me sad for my bet, but I still think it could be May. Not giving up hope. But I think they both love May. And you should love Drake May, in my opinion. I think he's phenomenal. I like Daniels, but I just don't think he's on May's level. I think it's different tiers. But
Well, I think
it
Drake,
is.
Go ahead.
I think I was just gonna say with Vikings, it's Darnold. Obviously, he's not the long-term plan. I think with the Giants, I like Daniel Jones. If you love a quarterback, you go get him. And I think Drake May's a quarterback for that. But I think if they don't get May, they're going to give Daniel Jones a year where they're probably anticipating that he's gone. But if he has a really good year, he stays. So I think that's where they're at.
I think Giants either way draft a quarterback in this draft. And that doesn't mean like at 6 they'll draft one.
Okay,
No,
well that's
like,
the whole question, Logan. Because you could draft if you spend a second round pick and then Daniel Jones somehow takes you to the playoffs and wins another playoff game, you're like, oh, it's a second round pick. Who cares? Keep Daniel Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's all about the first round pick.
I do think both these, like especially Vikings, is a really good spot for May. Like May will be able to sit in both of these situations. Now in New York, if the Giants do land Drake May, Daniel Jones is gonna have an extremely short leash. Like the fans are going to want if they're
the fans are going to be ruthless.
So, but I think this is very telling that the Giant, and you see this when quarterbacks can either have 1 year left on their contract or you can move off of their contract in a year. Then most of the time you see the team move on and get another quarterback. And I think the Giants right now, because next year's a weak quarterback draft class, I don't think it's that strong. This would be the time to go get your quarterback to eventually replace Daniel Jones.
I'm fine with it. Even though I like even if it was that they love Jaden Daniels, I'd still be fine with it. If
they go get McCarthy, it's like
if it's McCarthy, because okay, Logan, I think we just have to admit we don't see what other people see. I think I like McCarthy more than you do, but these are NFL evaluators. You got to give them like they know something. They know something, Logan. It's not just if he is drafted that high, maybe it's all smokescreen. But at this point, this would be the biggest smokescreen ever. Because usually with the smokescreen, there's like the other smoke on the other side, but there's literally zero smoke on the other side. So, I mean, if the Giants love someone and they draft him, that's fine. That's fine. Even though Danny Dimes, love that guy.
Nichols.
But with the Viking, shut up. With the Viking,
or Penny. Actually, it's probably more like pennies.
You need to stop. That dude's won a playoff game. Like 374 total yards in that game, 4 touchdowns.
Great. Trent Dilfer's won a Super Bowl. It doesn't make me convinced.
Okay, but Daniel Jones, if you have real quick, not doing a whole tangent, I'm refusing. But if you have 374 yards in a playoff game and 4 touchdowns, your first playoff game, that's quite an impressive performance. I don't care if it was against a bad defense. It's not Trent Dilfer. That's terrible. He didn't have the.
I'm not saying it's Trent Dilfer.
No, he didn't have the 2000 Ravens defense with him. Stop it. That's ridiculous.
I'm not comparing 2 players. I'm just saying like if one.
Okay, but one had one had like the greatest defense ever. One of that's besides the point. As I was gonna say that. Then with the Vikings, I mean Vikings, they have a lot of picks. It sounds like they love May, but okay, I saw something from Charles Robinson that said if they don't get or trade up, that they could sit and with either one of their picks go and take Bo Nix, and I think that's interesting.
I think Bo Nix is the one quarterback that could slip. He's probably most likely one to slip. So you could give him at 23. It's tough, though. It's like...
Michael Penix's odds are still at 32.5 as his over-under.
He may go top 10.
I mean, yeah. I made a bet weeks ago, but now the odds are even better, which is nuts.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I think... I mean, Bo Nix, I think...
If Bo Nix gets drafted, I think the plan with Nix is like he starts week 1.
I think with the Vikings, man,
at least the hope is that he beats out Darnold to start week 1.
I still don't know how I feel because I was never huge on Bo Nix in college. I just never was, and I still don't know how I feel because here's the thing: all these quarterbacks are not going to work, and if I had to make a bet of who doesn't work, it'd probably be McCarthy and Bo Nix. and probably one of the two of Jane Daniels and Drake May. Like we've always seen quarterbacks.
The odds are that one of Daniels or May doesn't work. Yeah, even though I like them
and
both, the
I
odds are
I
one
think
of those.
Caleb's a hit. I like Penix a lot. Penix could bust, but I think he'll work. And I think one of Drake May and Jane Daniels will work. I do not believe in JJ McCarthy and the Bo Nix. I'm kind of just I'm not that high on him.
I don't know if I've explained it to you or on here or what. But okay, so when it comes to these quarterbacks in my own mental tier that I put, Caleb Williams is like, unless he lands in the worst situation on God's green earth, he's going to be a really good quarterback. And then, in my opinion, Drake May's on his own tier where I'm pretty confident Drake May's going to be good, but he can't land in a terrible situation. Jane Daniels is like, has to be a pretty good situation. And it's like,
I think JJ has to be a pretty. I think JJ has to be a
JJ
pretty good situation.
Honestly, JJ, but then it's like Penix and Nix, like honestly, don't need to be in as good as a situation to be solid quarterbacks. It's weird. They're like in that.
Well, I think situation.
They're like
is
in that
really,
Goff. Where like we view Goff right now, and
I think Bo Nix is more athletic than Goff. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, they're like in that.
Situations all like would Patrick Mahomes be what he is if he didn't go to the Chiefs? He may still be really damn good, but he's probably not what he is. I think situations. Yeah. I think more of it is where you land and like how talent, because you have all these players have immense talent, but if you land in a crappy situation,
that's
you can't really get out of it. And really, the Bears are a great situation. Like they have the first pick, but they're not. It's not their pick. Like they had 7 wins last year.
Okay, I think so. We know that the Vikings. I think just like I think the Vikings would be the best spot of quarterback needy teams. All of them. Vikings is the best spot. If Caleb Williams go to Vikings, that's number 1. I think Bears is number 2. I think we think that the Raiders is pretty good because of the weapons, and it seems like they have a good culture. I mean, Denver's weird with Sean Payton. Atlanta is like, I'm not even going to talk about Atlanta with we'll talk about that, but that's weird because they have Kirk. But what do you think is a better spot, Washington or New York?
The Giants, you're saying?
Yeah.
Just to clarify.
What's a better spot for a quarterback? I just thought of this. I honestly don't know.
I think it's Washington. I don't know why I even hesitate. The Giants, I think Brian Dable is just a jackass. I think he's...
But jackasses could be good coaches.
Okay. Let's just talk about offensive pieces around the quarterback.
I get this. No, I think I thought about this.
Without Saquon, what's the running game? And you think they always draft running back?
Saquon was Jones, but yeah.
But Dan Jones, you're not going to keep Dan Jones.
Yeah, I know. I
know Dan Jones is probably a better running back than he is quarterback. But I'm not going to do that.
Let's. I will drive 2 hours.
It's Washington. I mean, I think we both like Jahan Dotson. You have Terry McLaurin.
I mean, yeah, but Dotson, we don't know if Dotson's even truly good.
Oh, I think he's good.
I mean, but he like drops stuff and route stuff. Logan, there's a chance our dynasty team you have taken us. Not you, because
like Austin Eckler.
Maybe a second Jerry Jeudy. It may be a second Jerry Jeudy where it's there, but it's just not clicking for whatever
Jerry Jeudy
reason.
got paid $17 million a year now. He's with
okay, but I think I think that number ended up being less, and we all know that was an over. Logan, no matter what you want to think, that's a lot of money for Jerry Jeudy, who hasn't had 1,000 yards.
So for this year, I say Washington. But let's say like Giants trade up for a quarterback, and you give up more assets, but you get rid of Daniel Jones, you shed all that cap space, and you free up more money to spend. It could potentially be Giants, but right now I don't trust the Giants in anything they're doing. So I'd say Washington.
But I mean, when's the last time you trusted Here's the thing. Okay, head coach, I'd rather have Dable over Quinn.
Well, yeah, offensive coach, yes.
Yes, and I think that's Quinn's. I just don't know if he should be a head coach. I don't know, but I'd take Dable. I mean, I know the Giants O-line sucks, but you have Andrew Thomas. Left tackle is very important, and they have some okay weapons that maybe could turn something. Wendell Robinson, Hyatt. They have some stuff there, but I know that's not great. But and then Washington, I know you have better weapons, but the head coach is better. And I know the Giants aren't like the most well-ran organization, but Washington's always been a mess. And it could be new ownership syndrome when they mess a ton of stuff up early.
Well, I didn't like what they did free agency. I thought most of their signings.
No, yeah, the free agency, I thought they were going to go big, and then they went extra conservative. But I think that's a toss-up. I think that they're – okay, where would Denver – so you have Washington ahead of New York. Where would Denver rank? They'd be ahead of those two, or would they be in the middle or last?
I mean, Denver, I don't think has a great offensive line. Their receiving core is Cortland Sutton.
Tim Patrick. Is Tim Patrick even still a Bronco?
And you have who's that guy from I think he's still Bronco. Who's that? They gave him an extension. That's right. They gave him an extension. He got hurt. The guy from Oklahoma. Why is his name slipping? Oh, Marvin Mims. They kind of liked him.
He's not
Running
bad. Yeah,
games.
he was pretty solid as a rookie. You have nice.
To be honest, and this may just be overvalued, but you're in the AFC West, AFC tougher competition.
Okay.
And Sean Payton, I'll probably take. I mean, these are all I'll probably say Washington. I'll say Washington. Oh my god.
No, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough. And I'm so happy I just saw this now. I'm very proud of myself. Wait, are you saying Washington's clearly ahead of Denver, and then you're deciding between Giants and
because the thing is,
Denver?
I don't know Sean Payton. I don't know if he's even like. I think he's a good coach, but like, I don't know his demeanor and how he carries himself. I'm not a huge
That's
fan
fair.
of that.
That's fair, but he's also a great offensive mind at the same time.
And they don't have picks. Washington has a ton of money that they could also spend next year. I'll probably say Washington. I'm gonna say Giants. Denver's my third.
Dang.
Out of the three.
Dang.
I don't Denver. I don't know what direction they're going. Like I don't know what their path is.
The thing is, Sean Payton teaching a young quarterback. I'm gonna go.
But I think Sean Payton wants a specific type of quarterback.
Okay, I'm gonna go Denver. Well, yeah, but I'm gonna go Denver. I just rethought the Giants in my head. Now I'm thinking maybe Washington. Shoot, I don't know, man. I thought I was gonna say Giants over Washington, but now I'm rethinking it. You want? Give me Washington, I guess. You get the weapons. You hope Dan Quinn puts a good defense. It worked with D'Amico Ryans. It could work with Dan Quinn, possibly. I guess Denver, Washington, the Giants. I'm putting Sean Payton. That dude's going to be a Hall of Famer. I know he's not a great track record lately, but that's tough. That's wild. Okay, wait. Raiders are ahead of all of them for you, right? Because I think that's clear. You have Devontae and Jacoby, and I think their culture's set.
And Michael Mayer. I probably take Raiders over all those teams. Yeah.
Yeah, I think their culture's set.
But like let's talk about Penix. Penix next. I actually think Penix is a great fit in Las Vegas. I just don't know if he gets there. But there was a report the other day that Penix to Atlanta is starting to pick up steam. Personally, I think this is all smokescreen. Like if you said JJ McCarthy to Atlanta, that make more sense because he can sit behind Kirk. But Penix is 23, 24. He's already pretty polished. I don't think he would have to sit. This doesn't really make much sense to me.
I agree. Maybe there's a chance in hell that they sign Kirk and then they really went into the Penix evaluation and are like, oh my gosh, this guy's so good. We want Michael Penix. But I'm going to say it's probably not. I'm probably saying it's like a hope that someone trades up to 7 or maybe 6 if Giants don't get May and they like to trade back. And maybe they want someone to slide. I mean, it could be Dallas Turner. I mean, it's just a rumor. It's a rumor, but still have to talk about it.
I don't think Dallas Turner's going to go top. Dallas Turner, I think, is pretty safe to go to like fall to 8. I don't think you.
I mean, so maybe they want like Alt or Odunze or Nate. Who knows? Who knows?
I mean, the top 7 picks could all be offense. Like I think Dallas Turner.
I'd put minus odds. That's all offense. Yeah, I think it'd be like minus 250 all offense. That should be a prop bet. That's a great prop bet. Top 7 picks all offense. I mean, you're expecting 4 quarterbacks. You're expecting 2 receivers and a tackle, maybe 3 receivers, or maybe it's 5 quarterbacks. Who the hell knows? No one flipping knows anything outside that the first pick's May and that the second pick is likely Daniels. That's chaos.
First pick's Caleb.
What did I say? May. Oh,
yeah.
Caleb. Yes, my bad. I mean, it's nuts. But if they took Penix, what would be your reaction if they took Penix?
I like Penix a lot, but I think it'd be a waste to pick. I think he'd have to sit for 2 years. Because I think you could probably get out of the Cousins contract after 2 years. I don't think the full 4 years is basically. It's not very, consistent where you're gonna have to pay him all those years. But if I'm Atlanta, I went all in to get Kirk Cousins. I'm gaining a pass rusher. I
And
think
you're
it'd be a
losing
waste of
picks
a
for
pick.
tampering.
Yeah, it would be a waste of a pick in my opinion.
If I
You would
saw
not
that,
improve at all.
my first reaction is like, "Hey, I just won some nice money." So that'd be my first reaction. Then my second reaction would be like, "Oh my!" It's like, I don't know. I think I'd be if they loved him, I'd be probably not on board with it, but okay with it. So
I mean, if yeah, I
it'd be
don't know.
nuts.
You went all in for Kirk Cousins.
It'd truly be like where like I'm sitting there watching the pick. Like in my head, it's like Penix is a possibility, but still, if they said Michael Penix, I'd be like, whoa,
I
whoa,
mean, he could
whoa.
be 26, 27 by the time he starts.
How old was Jordan
I
Love
don't
this
think it
year?
make. I don't think it would make a lot of
I'm not
sense
saying it's
at
right,
all.
but how old was Jordan Love? I don't,
I thought he was like
this year.
21. I thought he was like this year.
Yeah, I'm saying
He's like
this year.
24.
Is that I'm not saying that.
I want to say he's like
It
24.
just I'm
I
just
believe he was like
interested.
21, 22
Yeah,
when he was drafted.
he turned 25 in November. So
Okay, so he's 24 starting
yeah,
the year. Yeah.
Penix is age now. So yeah.
No, yeah. So this wouldn't make much sense at all.
Mhm.
Let's go back to the Broncos and to JJ McCarthy. This kind of actually didn't break. I don't know if breaking's the right word, but did come out that Peyton Manning, who's
Why would
very
you say
close
this
with the
too?
Broncos organization, he said on a radio show that the Broncos are very interested in McCarthy. We saw Denver trade for Zach Wilson. That's kind of why I ranked Broncos 3 in your thing, because if Sean Payton wants Zach Wilson, I don't trust his
He's
judgment at
taking a
all.
shot. He's taking a shot. That's fine, Logan. Stop it. Trade Logan. They moved back 50 picks in the 7th round. That's fine. Don't be doing that.
Sure. My initial thought of when they made this move was actually that the Broncos would trade back. And to be quite honest, I've always thought Broncos and Seattle were a perfect trade partnership in this draft. But do Broncos want to get burnt a second time in a quarterback trade with the Seahawks? That's the only thing that's made me pause. It's like
I've been. I
Seattle
also
trades up
think
for
the
Michael Penix
Broncos
and
maybe
Simpson.
want a quarterback. It is weird that
But,
Peyton Manning said McCarthy. They're very interested in McCarthy,
yeah, and
and we
they
just
only
have
have
the
5
quote. We
picks.
don't have
They
the
only have
video.
5 picks in this draft. So either they think McCarthy's going to slip to him, or they're going to trade up. I don't really understand.
I mean,
If
why
I were
would
the Broncos,
Peyton Manning say this? I just think
that's what
that's
I'm saying.
weird.
That because
But
he's definitely connected with the franchise. He
but I
definitely
mean,
knows
what if they sent him
something.
on some smokescreen thing? I don't know what exactly.
That could be too.
But
I don't
what
know.
would the benefit be to have a team? Maybe they like, shoot, who could they like? I don't know. Maybe a corner or Bowers or something. Then they want a team to trade up to like 10 and take a quarterback, and then they get to take whoever they want at 12. I don't know. Seattle
Loves
also
McCarthy stuff. There's a
could be a
lot. It
destination.
screams smokescreen to me. A
Logan,
lot of
it's
McCarthy
too
stuff.
much. It's too much. I think you're using your personal anti
Will
McCarthy.
Levis, we said something about Will
No,
Levis.
that was
Yesterday. It's
different.
too
But
much.
that's different. That's different because a lot of people were criticizing Will Levis at the same time, and there was a lot of quotes, and then that just rushed like the last day, and I was like, that just happened out of nowhere. This has been consistent. You don't see any execs or scouts saying anything negative, and it's like usually that's what I was saying. There's usually some other smoke over there. There's like no smoke over there. I don't even know if they have the firewood set up. I don't even know. Maybe there's not. I don't even know if there's a lighter. It makes no. I mean, if it is, it's the biggest smoke screen ever. That's what I'm gonna say. If he does just fall, it's the biggest smoke
I don't
screen
think
ever.
I don't think he is worth a first round pick. That's just my opinion. But I don't see him falling out of the first round of this draft.
No, I'm not. I'm saying if he
Like
falls
in my
if he
opinion,
falls outside if he falls past 16, if he's a back half of the first round, then this was one of the biggest smoke screens ever because
in my opinion,
it was
go ahead.
consistent. But I'm just saying it was consistent. No one's talking bad about him except like a few people who most aren't even like film watchers. Like most film watchers really like him. It's all that. So it's very interesting. It would be a huge smokescreen. It'd be much bigger than Levis because that just came out of nowhere for one day. This has been consistent for 3 months. So I just don't think the smokescreen is that big. Someone has to really like him.
Like in my opinion, I think they're like the talent wise. I would say there's 3 first round valuable quarterbacks in this draft, but because there's so many teams that need a quarterback, I think these guys' stocks are larger because of that. Like, I don't know. I don't think Bo Nix is necessarily a first round talent, but because there's so many teams that need quarterback, he'll probably go first round.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think JJ McCarthy's one. Michael Penix, I think you can make an argument either way. I think the three for sure lock first round talent caliber quarterbacks in this draft are Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jane Daniels. Like, I don't know if the other three fit the bill of first round pick, but because there's so many teams that need a quarterback, they're going to go higher than they should. Like if Broncos took Bo Nix at 12, I would feel that that's a reach. But they need a quarterback, so they couldn't do that.
It's interesting stuff. This quarterback class is nuts. It's a good class because you have three good ones and then three others who are at least considered good. McCarthy has talent. I think we all know McCarthy has talent, and he's won. So it's nuts. And I know that you're not – I'm not huge on McCarthy, but I'm open to it, and you're pretty stubborn on it.
I just don't see it. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I said you're stubborn on it. I don't think that's inaccurate.
He had 22 touchdowns this year. I don't think when people say, "Oh, he wins in college football," when you have a lot of talent around you and the best talent around you, you're gonna win most of the time.
Yeah, I just think
Mac Jones won in college.
He was a high recruit. I mean, yeah, that's true.
Matt Leinart won in college. Mark Sanchez won in college. Mark Sanchez went to 2 AFC Championship games. He wasn't that good.
Mark Sanchez was also a fourth-round pick. He was a fourth-round pick.
Mark Sanchez? No, he wasn't.
Who am I thinking of then? If he wasn't, then who am I thinking of? Because didn't Mark Sanchez? I don't know what you're thinking. He went first. He went like 5th overall, 6th overall. Mark Sanchez did. Then who was the guy who was gonna be a top 5 pick and then stayed and then ended up being like a 4th-round pick the next year? I thought that was Mark Sanchez.
Mark Sanchez went like first round. Just trade up for Mark Sanchez. He went like top 5.
Yeah, okay. I'm thinking. I don't know who I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of someone else.
I don't know what you're thinking about because
I am thinking about someone. Okay, it's not. It wasn't Sanchez went 5th.
My point is, you can say they win, but when they have a bunch of talent, like Mark Sanchez went to back-to-back AFC title games.
Oh, yeah.
He beat Peyton Manning, I believe, in one of those playoff games. He beat Big Ben. He beat Peyton Manning.
Oh, yeah. Mark Sanchez didn't have a terrible career. He was fine. He had some moments. He was.
That's exactly what JJ McCarthy. That's exactly what JJ McCarthy was.
But maybe a team think. I mean, maybe the Vikings think they can build that. The Vikings are stacked.
If I'm wrong on JJ McCarthy, I'm wrong, but I just don't see him.
Yeah, you're stubborn on it.
Let's move on. Another report, and I think this team is one of the most like a winning team. They have to be the most aggressive, successful team in the league. They're always trying to trade up, and this is pretty obvious that they're trying to trade up for a corner. What I kind of wanted to do with this was what teams make sense to trade back to the Eagles? What range do you see the Eagles move?
Who are
Jacksonville?
Are they trading for Quinn Mitchell or Arnold?
Let's say Quinn Mitchell or
Arnold. Yeah, those are top 2.
Yeah.
So that's like range 12 to 11, 10.
I think Denver could trade back
if they don't like a quarterback. Sure.
I think Jacksonville could trade back, especially it kind of depends on how 17.
Where's the Eagles again? 20.
They 22? I believe they're 22. I believe they're. Or are they 20?
I'm looking.
I believe it's 22 or 23.
They're 22.
Okay.
So if the draft goes weirdly, I mean, Jacksonville could be there. That'd be good, but that means one of the two has fallen back. So if this report's true and they're trying to trade up, then it has to be for one of the two. I mean, 12 is probably the highest. Who's the 11th pick? Oh, that's Minnesota.
Vikings.
They probably wouldn't trade back.
And Peter Schrager had Vikings taking, I believe, Quinn Mitchell 11th overall. So.
Okay, I was looking at Peter Schrager's things. They're saying like he's really accurate. I was looking at some. I mean, he's not that accurate. There's some NFL drafting I was looking at. It's like the accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was not that accurate. He always goes a little. He's really good at picking teams to go to the Super Bowl, and honestly, that may be more important. It is more important. It's picking a team to go to the Super Bowl. But so there's no way they take Quinn Mitchell. I don't know. I'd be shocked. I guess if it's Knicks and they think he'll go to 23.
Knicks at 23 or something. Yeah, I think. I don't know. I think Eagles. I mean, it's pretty obvious they're trying to get corner. On what?
I wasn't crapping on Peter Schrager there, but if that happens, good for him.
Well, I think his mock drafts are based on what he hears from the league, but like I don't think people are going to be showing their cards right now. They could say stuff and what they think other teams are going to do. There are so many moments in draft where it's like there's no way I was going to predict that. Like Anthony Richardson to the Colts last year, I did not think that was going to happen.
Eagles trading for AJ Brown a couple years ago, that one was quite the shocker. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. When you make a mock draft, and like you always make mock drafts looking pretty realistic based off rumors, and it's just like, who knows? It's gonna be like flipping. Let me just think of like the dumbest team. Like Miami just trades up for 5 for like JJ McCarthy, and you're just like, what? Like win that? What? It's like,
or you see them go, or like they trade up and grab like a receiver, somebody they give up a load for. Like I don't know. I think the draft is a lot of a crapshoot, and you don't really. I don't think it's fun. That's why I think it's so fun talking about the draft and doing mock drafts because we don't know what these teams are going to do. That's what makes it so fun.
But then sometimes
other than the obvious picks,
I did that mock draft and I got the first pick right, the third pick right, and I randomly got the 27th pick right.
Yeah, but Eagles. I mean, they always make these type of moves. I mean,
but there's always rumors even when they don't make trades, it's rumors that they're going for trades. So, and it's like I'd be surprised if I didn't hear anything about the Eagles before Thursday.
Let's talk about the last rumor we've heard the last few days. This one doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't think it's real. I refuse.
And if it's real, the Dolphins just don't deserve to win their division. If they do this, I'm not picking to win their division. I'll just take them out of the equation. I don't want to say Tyreek Hill's an undersized receiver, but he's not like a tall receiver. Jalen Waddle's undersized.
Yeah.
Like height-wise. And now you're getting Xavier Worthy, who's undersized and height and weight. This would make no sense to me.
If it would have worked in the cold against the Chiefs, and let's say you went to a title game and you really competed and your fast receivers were playing really well in the cold, then sure. But it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And there's no point of getting
to push back on that point, though. And I know it goes into the equation and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It would work if they had a better quarterback. It could have worked better if they had a better quarterback.
Nah, I mean, yeah, but that's why that's into the equation to where if you draft Xavier Worthy and you're playing an Arrowhead again and it's 20 degrees, you're not winning anything. You're just not.
Like if I'm the Dolphins and let's say Bo Nix is sitting there.
Oh, it's definitely a thought. It's definitely a thought.
I'm taking him. Most of the time when
that's what's funny. When you just said how you think there's 3 QBs deserved of 3 first-round QBs, but then you say the Dolphins, who have a fine QB, you can agree he's one of the more accurate from 15 to 25 yards, and you'd still be like, hey, take Bo Nix. That's just how the quarterback landscape is.
Well, yeah, and because you won't have the opportunity second round.
Yeah,
that's my point. Like Bo Nix will be taken probably first round because
if Bo Nix is in the 20s though. That'd be interesting. If he gets to 17, 18, I think a team's trading up. I don't think the Vikings can
what team do you either see trading back into the first round or that's in the back half of the first round?
I mean, you could see something like, what if the Cowboys really like Bo Nix and screw it, trade up for Bo Nix? I mean, you could see the Vikings do it. You could see the Dolphins do it. You can see but you could see a team who's early in the second do it too. Like what if New England's sitting there and they traded back and then they could trade up for Bo Nix? I mean, it can get funky if that happens. But back to the Dolphins, this would be dumb. I 100% agree.
I think I saw Albert Beard talk about this where he talked to multiple teams and this was the one player who's most common landing with the Dolphins.
I mean, that's weird. Maybe I know you're not a Worthy guy. I'm not as stubborn on people I'm not the hugest fans of. I think we can see that there. If you don't like a player, you don't like a player. I'm willing to see the possibilities. I'm not huge on Worthy.
No. See, that's not true because I think landing spots change a lot of the perspective and the landscape for a player.
You're pretty anti-Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, he's undersized, and when I watched him,
I'm open to it.
When I was watching him in college, I didn't really see a guy who was he didn't really dominate.
Well, maybe
for how people talk about him, he didn't really dominate. There were times where he was just not to be seen.
No, yeah. I'm not a huge Worthy guy, but I'm open to it. It's similar to McCarthy.
And he will be a first-round pick because of his 40. But we saw John
I mean,
Ross
I don't
go
think he's a
top
first-round
10.
pick. But also, I know this is kind of stupid what I'm about to say, but if there's any person on any position of any evaluations who I trust, it's Steve Smith when it comes to wide receivers. That dude, I mean, you predicted Cooper Kupp, predicted a couple other guys. That dude is really good at it, and he has Xavier Worthy as his number 5 receiver. So I'm willing to see the possibilities because that guy's really smart at receiver. I'm willing to see possibilities. Obviously, Steve Smith's gonna have misses, but he's pretty good. So
I just don't think the size is going to translate to the league. I didn't really see him play that great in college. There's definitely spurts where he's really good. I mean, he's a D1 receiver, plays at Texas. But I don't know. I don't.
No, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that opinion. I'm just saying I'm more open. But
so you think he would work?
I was just about to say.
Let's say he goes to Dolphins.
I was just about to say about the Dolphins. I was literally just about to ask you this question because I'm not too sure. I think he would have a lot of opportunities in open space, a lot. So I don't know if he could have like 800 yards, but it'd be like he was just open because.
I think if the Dolphins made this selection, I think it'd be more telling about their thoughts on Jalen Waddle's future of the team.
Damn it, you beat me by 1 second, Logan. I think that's
what's more about.
I think they may trade Jalen Waddle because of that. Damn it, you beat me.
But would you rather have Jalen Waddle or Xavier Worthy or two? I'd rather have Waddle.
I mean, is the thought that you don't have to pay. God, you wouldn't have to pay Waddle for still. Is he gonna be a 4th year?
He was drafted the same year as Herbert.
Oh, so his contract's coming up. Yeah, has he been signed yet? No, he hasn't. So that'd be like a thought. If that happens,
if that happens, right? Wait,
shoot, no. He was in the Jude. No, I think he's in his 4th year.
Okay, so next year's 5th year. Okay.
I may be wrong.
Same draft.
Let me look it up, Jalen. Let me just look up his stats. He hasn't. Yeah, he's playing his 4th year.
Okay.
I guess I get it. I probably would say I wouldn't do that, but I get it.
It would make 0 sense for this move. I don't get.
I'm just saying if you trade Waddle,
Tua has had one healthy year. Last year was an anomaly.
No, I know we get that, but if you love Tua, and maybe Mike,
I'll tell you right now, they don't love Tua. They would have already paid him. If they love Tua,
or it's called negotiating. I mean, Trevor Lawrence isn't paid, Logan. I think Jacksonville loves Trevor Lawrence. He's not paid. Kaboosh.
They don't love Tua.
I don't think they love him, but I'm just saying if, Logan.
If you're a rookie quarterback and you get to your 5th year option before an extension.
Trevor Lawrence is about to get to his 5th year. What are you talking about, man?
Yeah, he's been just because. Here's the thing with Jacksonville.
But they're not signing him.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I believe that people say that more. It's not that they love him, but it's because if they get rid of him, where do they go from there? They're kind of trapped either because I don't think Trevor Lawrence is a bad quarterback, but like necessity wise,
Lawrence, I don't think you could say the 5th year option thing. I think negotiations happen. Some negotiations take
most
longer.
Of the time.
Yeah, I disagree with that statement, but I don't think they love Tua either. I think they like him, they don't love him, which would make this pick quite wild.
Yeah, I don't. I would go offensive line.
Like if they
trade back.
Yeah, and you have other needs too.
Yeah,
you lost Hunt. Yeah, you use a lineman.
0 sense.
Your secondary's older. Yeah, it definitely just like I'd sit there and be like, okay, I guess if you want to be nuts, be nuts. If you want to be that one team who there'd be certain games where you can't stop them at all. But you're just probably not winning a Super Bowl that way.
No, once you get to like 46 degrees, you can stop them.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be the best team in September, and it'd just be like last year where you're the best team in September.
And I think Tua every year he's going to start has won 10 games, 9 to 10 games,
and that's still valuable in itself. It is. I mean,
yeah, but when you look at the context last year,
but Logan, you also didn't think Jared Goff was a potential Super Bowl quarterback, and he was so close being the Niners and being the Super Bowl, and they could have beat the Chiefs. Would they have won? Probably not because of Patrick flipping Mahomes. But Logan, he was about to be there again on a not as talented team as the Rams had. So sometimes that happens. And I've always been
close.
What?
I think the talent between those two. And I know this is kind of off. We're getting off topic, but I think the talent between the Rams and that Lions team are pretty close.
No, Lions don't have like any Aaron
It was
Donald.
Cooper Kupp.
Yeah,
Robert Woods.
Cooper
Gerald
Kupp.
Everett.
Robert Woods was really good then.
Okay,
Robert
Gerald
Woods
Everett.
was
I know Todd Gurley was really good back then, but like
Todd-
Lions
yeah.
have Amon-Ra, Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery.
But they're all super.
I'm not saying Lions are.
They're
better,
all
but I think,
super young though.
I wouldn't say it's a landslide.
But that's like, but the Lions like secondary is like atrocious.
I mean, Cooper Kupp was very young too. You say same thing.
Yeah, sure. You know, that's fair. That's fair. But
I think the talent's comparable. I don't think it's
okay, but the Rams didn't have a weakness like the secondary the Lions do. That thing's atrocious back there, and even the Lions pass rush is just one guy. I think that's Logan. I'm not saying it's like the Lions are here and the Rams are all the way up here, but it's like Rams are here, Lions are here-ish. It's not the same. It's not the same.
Okay.
Not the same.
So, your draft plans, are you gonna watch it?
Yeah, I'll be in my meeting.
The volume on, or I guess you can have your headphones in.
Well, no, it'll be me and Toby, so I want to take the volume away from my boy. We'll figure it out. I mean, I'm gonna have to pay attention to the Sixers, Knicks, and then Lakers, Nuggets. After that, I just can't not pay attention, especially Lakers, Nuggets, because that's like picks like 17, and maybe all the quarterbacks are gone.
No, you have to keep watching, man.
I know, but it's just what if 6 quarterbacks are gone and it's Lakers, Nuggets, and I'm just waiting for.
You can probably watch the draft will probably end. First round will probably end like 11.
Yeah, so the end of the Lakers Nuggets game I'm watching, but I mean,
maybe like only a third quarter by the time at 11, because the game starts at 9:30, right?
Maybe if it's a faster draft this year,
I believe Lakers Nuggets is 9:30, which I think that may only be like
9. It's 9.
Okay, never mind.
Logan, I have to have Lakers Nuggets on. I can't not watch LeBron and Jokic, and especially if all 6 quarterbacks are gone, I'm obviously still intrigued, but what makes this draft so intriguing is there's 6 flipping quarterbacks. And then I'm like, okay, is it Arnold or Mitchell this pick? Oh, LeBron just dunked and Jokic should have stepped back with Anthony Davis draped all over him. So it's like, yeah, that's maybe a little more interesting.
All right. I already know I'm going to be watching draft. Just like full. Like I don't think I'm going to watch NBA on Thursday, unfortunately.
You got to watch some, Logan. Come on.
Well, the first game's Cavs Magic.
But that's NBA TV though. Knicks.
Yeah, NBA knows what they're doing. They're playing that game on NBA TV.
Well, yeah, that series is probably even if it went to 7.
Philadelphia Knicks.
But
that'll be
Philadelphia, that's 6:30. So if you want to kill time, you turn on you watch the TNT crew.
Well, actually, no. Here's the thing, Luke. Here's where you're mistaken. It says 6:30, but don't games always start like 15 minutes later? Yeah,
okay, but you can still watch the pregame with Chuck, Shaq, Kenny, and Ernie. Kill some time.
I'll kill about 15 minutes, or no, I'll get like 15 minutes there and 15. Yeah, Luke, the draft time.
No, I will probably watch very little the Knicks Sixers, and then
I'll probably watch the first 5 minutes of that game, and I'll probably take 15 minutes.
No,
because how fast?
Okay, if it's hypothetical, it's pick. Not Knicks Sixers. I'm trying to think of how the draft. If pick, see, even by the end of Knicks Sixers, all the quarterbacks could be gone, and
I don't watch the NFL draft just for quarterbacks, man.
I know, but that's the most intriguing part this year. And if it's a 1-point game with 4 minutes left, and it's like Embiid has 40, but dude, there's scenarios where you're switching it for a little bit. There are scenarios. 1-point game with like a minute left. Did you not just watch
maybe
last night was chaos?
Okay. Here's a scenario where if a pick just had been made and then the next team's like on the clock for a bunch of minutes, then yeah.
And what if it's like the Saints and all the quarterbacks gone? That's a big deal. I know.
That's the great thing with NFL draft. It's always entertaining.
I know, but still, with the quarterbacks are all gone, that makes it a little. The quarterbacks this year is why this draft is like the most anticipated one in a while.
Well, I don't know if all the quarterbacks will be gone by the Saints pick,
but let's just say they are. I
think it's ridiculous.
I know it'd be, but this is a weird draft. Let's just say they are, and you're waiting on the the Saints. It's like, oh, let's see if they draft a corner or they draft Fashanu. And let's say Marvin and Neighbors and Odunze and Brock are gone, and like, okay, Brian Thomas is like the only receiver. It's like we still love defense, but man, the Knicks Sixers is an insane game, and then Sixers can go down 3-0, and Maxey and Embiid each have our combined 70 in this game.
Well, that's exactly how Game 2 went. So
exactly, and it's similar to Game. That's
on.
how Game 1 went. That's how Game 1 went.
I don't know, man. I'll probably turn off the last minute just to kill time of another team on draft clock. But in general, I probably won't be focusing too much on these NBA games.
Oh yeah, that's fine, but be prepared. I'll text you if I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, that's close. I'll text you.
Well, I'll have scores on my phone.
I'll inform you. I will inform you.
Anything else before we close out?
I know that's a fun debate. We should have made the whole episode how to balance watching the draft and these games. That would
only be entertaining for about 2 minutes.
Or I think we could really break it down. We could really break it down, and we could be like, okay, when it's the Titans pick, you could turn on the Knicks game for 4 minutes.
The Titans, but the thing is, there could be trades. You're just discounting trades.
So you have Twitter open. Twitter would tell you about the trade.
Exactly. I don't like that.
It's tough, man.
Because I'll be watching a draft and then Twitter will pull up the pick.
But hopefully the trade would happen, and when it say they trade for the 7th pick and take JJ McCarthy, I guess that's a possibility. Shoot.
Yeah, that's why exactly. Your argument's very flawed right now.
It's not super flawed.
Now there's a way for me to have 2 screens going at once, and yeah, I may try to do that, but it really just depends on the game and the situation.
Oh, you could if you watch on your laptop, and I think the Knicks, Sixers, and Lakers Nuggets are on HBO. You throw that on the TV, but I know you'd want the draft on the TV. Well, then you could just put your laptop. Wait, you figure it out. Yes.
All right, that's gonna do it for our episode today. We just wasted 7 minutes.
Oh, that was good discussion.
Talking about what we're going to do for draft and NBA games. But until then, make sure to subscribe to the channel, follow the Spotify page, like the video, and leave any comments below. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.